Alright, so I'm gonna work on getting this adapter lined up for this, getting all the holes placed in the right place. And what I've done so far is I've taken this piece of wood. This is the adapter that goes to the transmission, from the transmission to the motor, and I just drilled a hole in it and put it in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, if I can get that to line up, put that on the, there we go, put that on the transmission like that. Then I'm going to bolt this plate that I've got all the holes for on there. Once I get that bolted on, I've got some pre-drilled holes that I'm going to screw to that plate behind there, and that way everything will be lined up correctly, and then I can take this plate with that screwed on there over to the motor, and that will slip onto the motor, and we'll line that up correctly, and I'll be able to drill those holes. As you can see, I already drilled some holes. I did this before I drilled that bigger, so that those are actually lined up, but I decided to rotate the motor just a little bit because I've got this this four-wheel drive hub there that is taking up some room, and so I need to rotate that motor just a little bit so that it doesn't rub on that, and so I need to redo those holes, and since that hole is already drilled way too big now, this is what I need to do. But I was thinking this actually might be a good way to go, even for the first time drilling those holes. Might be easier than the way I did before, because before I had to drill that center hole, slide it over that shaft, and then mark all those holes, and it was kind of tedious, and then it was hard to transfer to the motor because that hole in there was actually too small for the motor shaft. And so I think this will actually line up a little bit better this way. Hold on one second, I'll get that bolted on there. Okay, I got that bolted on. I didn't put bolts in all the holes, but enough around there to where it's lined up good. I added this little screw right here so I can hold that tight with the hammer as I screw those 4 screws in there. And I can't really do that with the camera on, but I'll screw those on and I'll be back in a second. Okay, got all those 4 screws in there. I've also done those bolts on there, so we can now pull this off. Alright, so there we go. All that should be lined up. And now we'll go over to the motor and get those holes drilled. Okay, so I pulled that off, and I put it here on the motor. The motor, it's under there. But this is so this is lined up with it square. There's the hole here that it actually goes into a notch there. So I'm going to rotate it. I had to pull it out of there. I'm going to rotate it a little bit. Not too far, just enough to give me a little bit of clearance over that that four-wheel drive transmission there. And so what I'm going to do is I just rotate a little bit like there. I'm going to hit that with a mallet to give an indentation. I'll drill that hole, and then I'll make sure it all fits on there, and then I'll mark the other 4 holes and drill them out, and then we should have all our holes in the template done, and I'll just have to convert that to a piece of steel from this wood template, and we'll be ready to mount this. Okay, so I got that new hole drilled over there, and I've marked the 4 new bolt holes. As you can see, this is the new one. Here's the new one. I'm just going to drill these out. But as you can see, that's about how far I've rotated it. Just a little bit, just enough to give me a little bit of clearance on that one side. Anyway, there's those 4 holes. Drill them out, and then I'm basically going to fill up these other holes that I don't need, and then I'll just have to convert that to a steel plate, and it'll be ready to go.